Top of the morning, top of the morning. Welcome to another episode of Do You Ride podcast. In this episode, we go have the privilege of speaking to someone that's influential in this Harley gang. We go get the views and inputs from a nice young lady who has a lot of knowledge to share. Tune in, stay tuned.
Hey there, motorcycle enthusiasts. Welcome to Do You Ride, the ultimate podcast that takes you on a thrilling journey through the fascinating world of motorcycles. With your host, Marvin Gibson, your guide on this high-octane adventure. Whether you're a seasoned rider or just revving up your interest in bikes, this is the place to be. On Do You Ride, we're diving deep into the heart and soul of the biking community. From the roar of the engines to the camaraderie on the open road, we'll explore it all. Get ready for an adrenaline-fueled exploration of club culture, the thrill of bike rallies, and the breathtaking experiences that come with hitting the road on two wheels. But it's not just about the ride, it's about the rider. We'll share stories of passion, the sense of freedom that comes with each twist of the throttle, and the unique challenges faced by bikers. So gear up and join us every week as we embark on a journey through the wind, the curves, and the undeniable spirit of the motorcycle world. This is Do You Ride? Join your host, Marvin Gibson, and together, we're going to explore what it truly means to ride.
We back. Again, like I said, on this episode, we go reach out. We go get the opinions from a woman that's in this Harley gang. We go talk about a couple different things that she may be able to answer better than I can. We go get her views on, riding and just, safety equipment and a lot of different stuff. Women do things differently than us men. So we want to be fair and transparent. We want to get everybody's opinions. Like I said, this podcast is solely based off the opinions of others. Nothing that we state in these podcasts, we claim to be 100% factual. I haven't researched any of the information that, my guests talk about. We just having general conversation. You like to hear general conversation. You like to learn things. You like to understand people's views on this motorcycle culture. This is the place to be. So in this segment, I got a lot of questions myself that I want to ask, and I'm not 100% sure she gonna be able to answer them all. But like I said, I like listening and understanding people's views when it comes to riding, hitting the road, packing certain things that you need when you out on the road, places to visit, restaurants to stop at, even down to, taking pictures at the different mile markers and stuff that, we see a lot of people do when they take pictures. I'm not going to take too much of your time talking about, the things that I want to ask her. So we go try to just reach out and get her on the phone. And we're going to try to, get this podcast started out the right way. So give me a minute. Let me see if I can get in contact with her and be ready to get your ears filled with some blessings.
Hello?
Top of the morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me good?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, we got you on the Do You Ride podcast this morning. We got a lot of stuff that we want to talk about. I want to first take the time and let you introduce yourself to the listeners.
All right. So I'm Jennifer Evans, Minister Jennifer Evans. I am a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. And I have been riding, I'm what most would consider fairly new. So I've been riding for about 3 years now. And I do enjoy it. I love it. I'm excited to be on this podcast, and I can't wait to dive into everything.
Okay, so in your 3 years of riding, what first made you decide that you wanted to jump out there on a Harley?
So I never really been like a sports bike girl. Now, back in the day, in my younger days, I was always a backpack. I've always enjoyed motorcycles, but I was always a backpack back in my younger days.
Okay.
And when I went to, get my license and everything this time around, I think social media probably played a major part in my wanting to get a Harley because you see them all souped up, they sounding good, looking good, and I was like, man, So I think that's kind of what triggered my interest in Harley to begin with.
So,
And
so excuse me
just
for
went
cutting you
on.
off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're fine. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask. I heard you mention social media kind of triggered your want for it. So when you say social media, was it the impact of, the motorcycle rallies, or you had certain people that you had already knew that you followed and used to see them go to different events, or it's just kind of something you was infatuated with for years and social media kind of just made it come out more?
Yeah, I think the last thing, I think, social media just kind of made it come out more because I really wasn't aware of Harleys and the big impact that they have on the motorcycle community. I wasn't aware of it like that until I started, really diving into social media and just, kind of joining certain pages and groups and things like that, and started to really notice, like, man, these people are really doing some amazing things with these bikes. And, and like I said, I've never really been a sports bike type of girl, but, in addition to how you can dress up the Harleys and things like that, I knew that at this age, I'm 42 now, I wanted to be comfortable. I don't want to be hunchback all over, riding. I wanted to be comfortable. And that, and that was another thing that kind of steered me towards the Harley.
Okay, so being that you a new rider, what brought you to choose the bike that you chose? Tell the people what you ride right now.
Okay, so right now I have a 2008 Harley Street Glide. That's the only bike I've ever had. That's all I know. And the crazy part is, I've always heard people say, get a starter bike, and then, graduate and then move up. But my thing with that whole thing was, number one, and this is just my opinion, I felt like doing it that way is a waste of money. Because you learn on a small bike, you perfect that. And then now you go from a 600, 500 or whatever it is, and then you jump all the way up to these bigger bikes. You're still in the learning process. You're going to have to learn all over again because now you're in a different weight class. Bikes look different. They move different. So my whole thing was, I'm going to get what I want to begin with, and I'm going to learn on that. And that's exactly what I did.
I understand your concept when it comes to that. I kind of agree with you on that point. I never understood the, people telling folks to get a smaller bike and then move up and get a different bike. My philosophy on that is if you can ride one, you can ride them all. So regardless if you get a smaller bike, it's not going to be no different than you riding a bigger bike. So if you're going to get a bike, get the bike you want and then learn to perfect it. That's what it really is, because bikes don't drive different. They all ride the same way.
That is so true. And that's exactly what I did. I saw what I wanted. It's already, tricked out and custom paint and custom, everything on my bike is custom. And it was a little intimidating at first just because, of the way it looks. And I'm like, God, I don't want to get out here and drop it and scrape my paint and do this and do that. So I really took my time to learn my bike. I spent a lot of time in my neighborhood. I spent a lot of time in school parking lots. And I stayed until I got comfortable enough within myself to hop out on the road, on such a big bike. But what I have, that's all I know. To me, it would almost be foreign to go to something smaller just because, all I know is my Street Glide. And like I said, to each his own. If you want to start on a smaller bike, but at the end of the day, even if you start on a smaller bike, you have to relearn on your bigger bike or whatever you choose to upgrade to. You still have to relearn, because
So,
it just handles different.
so far as your
So
learning process, what was it a process that you kind of learned on your own, or did you have somebody, holding your hand through the process, going with you to these parking lots and maneuvering with you around the neighborhood? Or did you kind of just say, you know what, I got this, I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to ease into it and just jump out there by yourself?
you know what? It was a little bit of all of that. So I bought my bike from a guy in Georgia, and before my bike was brought here to Charlotte, I did do some riding with him, just trying to get used to the bike. But once it was brought here to Charlotte, he went back to Georgia. That was it. So, I remember sitting home one day, and I was so intimidated because, I hadn't gotten used to the weight and hadn't got used to the bike. And, and I said to myself, either you're going to get out there and learn it, or you're going to it's going to sit out there and collect dust. And so I remember the first time I got on it, and I rode through my neighborhood by myself, scared as I don't know what, shaking, but I got out there, and I think that day I was only on my bike for about 20 minutes, but I did it. And so I said to myself, if I can do it that time, I can do it again. So the next day, I kept going day after day. Every time I had an opportunity, I kept going until I felt comfortable enough, to just get out there and hop out there without any hesitation, and just go. But my learning process, it was a little bit of all of that. Most of it was just me and my bike, once it got brought here to Charlotte. But, it was a little bit of everything, to be honest.
So for the women that's listening to this podcast, or that will listen to this podcast, and they scared of the motorcycle world, or they scared of jumping out there, what advice would you give them right now?
I would definitely say, first of all, if it's something that you really want to get into, number one, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But, learn the basics, especially if you've never been on a motorcycle. Learn the basics. Go take a class and learn the basics. Because, even in those classes, you learn on such small bikes. But the basics are the same on, I don't care what you ride, the basics are the same. So I would say definitely start there, learn the basics. And then once you've kind of perfected the basics and learn that, then start thinking about, what type of bike you want. And then just kind of go from there, get your bike and learn on that. Experience is the best teacher. So you can, it's good to watch, your YouTube videos and things like that. But until you actually get out there and get on it, the videos and things are not going to do you any good until you start to put into practice what you're watching and what you've seen.
Yeah.
And you can't fear, especially on a motorcycle, and you're a beginner. I'm telling you, fear will grip you like nothing else. But you can't let it overtake you. If it's something that you're serious about and something that you're really, passionate about and you want to get into, you're going to have to get over that fear and just do it. Because otherwise you're going to be, you're taking a class for no reason. You bought a bike for no reason. You can't let fear grip you to the point to where you just sit there. And it's just a matter of, just overcoming fear and wanting to do it. But if it's something that you really want to do, just like with anything, you have to get out there, put in the work and do it.
Yeah, you can never perfect anything 100%. Myself, I've been riding motorcycles for over 30 years. I started out on dirt bikes. I ride four-wheelers and, all kind of toys. And I done had my fair share of accidents. I done had my fair share of, getting hurt and things like that. And you spoke on a big word, which was fear. And the thing that I would tell people when it comes to fear, you definitely got to get over that fear for sure. But you also want to let that fear keep you humble. And what I mean by that, me, like I said, I've had plenty of accidents, and it comes from doing crazy stuff. You know, the accidents I've been involved in was solely my responsibility, my fault, because I was doing things I didn't have no business doing. And that's because I got over that fear. Once you get over that fear, you feel like you're dominant on that motorcycle. You feel like you untouchable. And I used to be like that. And one accident I had was, you know, just out showing off, being, you know, somebody being a hard head, basically, let's say that. And you know, when I had that accident, it took me down for a long time. And as I was recovering and stuff and getting better, you know, it knocked the fear back in me, because once I started recovering, once I was getting better, I was going, you know, looking for another bike. And I was really talking myself out of it, because I became scared again, because, you know, the accident was that bad that it made me fear getting back on a motorcycle. So fear is something we definitely got to, you know, hold on to tightly. It's always good to get over the fear, of course, but still let fear humble you, because, you know, if you're scared or if you have a little bit of fear, it'll prevent you from doing a lot of stuff.
That is so true. That is so true. And I, you know, just to kind of piggyback on that, and I don't mean to take you out of church or anything, but, you know, fear, you know, God doesn't give us the spirit of fear. Fear is not of God. So, you know, whether you're riding on a motorcycle or, you know, learning to ride or whatever it is, that fear is a spirit, and it's not from God. So, you know, if you can get over that, you know, you can do anything. You can do anything. And, you know, motorcycles are definitely, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. But, you know, like you said, if you're, you know, you're out there and you're doing crazy stuff, then, you know, you put yourself in situations, you know, you ask for certain situations. But, you know, I've learned at the end of the day, you know, you get out there, you do the best you can to pay attention, and you know, focus on what you're doing, ride it like it's, you know, meant to be ridden. You know, most of the time, you know, you make it back home safe, you know, and there, you know, there are those times where you know, you got those cagers, you know, those drivers that just not paying attention. And sometimes it's not your fault, but in most cases, if you're doing your part, you know, you're focused and doing what you're supposed to do, then you'll make it back home. I always tell people, anytime anybody asks me, you're not scared to get out there on that big? No, I pray before I ride. I pray while I'm riding. And when I get home, I thank God, you know, because you just never know. But for any woman that's thinking about riding or wanting to get into riding, learn the basics and, you know, just crush your fears. Because you can't want to ride and be scared to ride at the same time. You can't do both.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So with that being said, as far as encouraging women to jump out there and ride, what type of rider do you consider yourself? Do you do any long distance riding, or, you know, are you more of a solo rider as opposed to riding in big groups, or, you know, what type of riding do you like to do?
So, you know, as far as long distance riding, I will long distance ride. I'm not afraid to do that, but because I ride by myself, 95% of the time I'm by myself. And so, you know, I'm the type of person that if I'm going from here to, just say, Florida, I don't want to do that type of ride by myself. I need at least one other person to do it. I haven't done that yet. And, you know, more long distance rides are on my list to do. But that's just something that I don't want to do by myself. I'll do it. I just prefer not to do it by myself. You know, riding in big groups doesn't bother me. I've done, you know, quite a few of the Toys for Tots rides and veteran rides and things like that. I will say this though, riding in groups, because you don't know, you know, you're just meeting the person that you're riding beside most of the time. Yes. You know, that day you don't know their riding style, how they ride, and, you know, if they're actually able to keep up with the group or not. Group rides like that can sometimes be, for me, I'll be honest, super frustrating.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I don't mind doing them. You know, I'm not a part of a club or anything like that. So most of the time I am by myself. But either way, I enjoy it. But I do prefer to go off kind of by myself because it's just so peaceful and so relaxing. I think that's probably my preference. Yeah.
Group riding it can be good if you riding with the right group.
Right.
I've been in a motorcycle club for a while. I'm solo now because, like I
Yeah.
said, I didn't want to be, held to the standards of one club when I'm out here shaking hands with multiple people. So I didn't
Mhm.
want to cause any conflict of interest on that. But I can tell you, riding in a club, riding in groups, if you riding with people who know and understand the movement, then it goes along
Mhm.
smooth. So when you come to talk about these toy for tot rides and, veteran rides and stuff, I understand you 100% about how frustrating it could be because,
Yes.
you got people riding in the center lane. You got people, that don't know, it just everybody's everywhere. You got people breaking from the pack and you behind this one
Oh,
person on a motorcycle and he don't want to go the speed limit and the people in
oh
the front
man.
getting, man, it's definitely a frustrating situation. So I agree with you 100% on that one.
I want to. I'm gonna tell you this quick story right quick, and no shade. I mean, ride what you ride, whether it's a Harley, a Gold Wing, Victor, whatever you ride your ride.
Uh,
I did this ride last year, with the group, and there was this guy on this Gold Wing, and man, when I tell you, he, I mean, I swear this man, he couldn't have been doing no more than 30 the whole ride. You talk about frustrated, and then he was in the center. Everything you just described,
yeah,
like it was this
man.
guy, like he was in the center, 30, 35, like, and he was just as happy, and it was hot out there. It had to be
Yeah.
almost 80 degrees. Like, and I was like, Lord Jesus, help me out of this. I mean, it was one of the most frustrating, but, I was able to kind of maneuver around them and go around them. But, it's just important whoever's listening to this podcast, when you're in groups, please keep up with the pack. Please stay in
Yeah.
your lane. Please, do what you're supposed to do to keep the ride rolling smooth. Because if you got, 15, 20 riders, up ahead, and then you got this big gap, I mean, big enough for, two and three and four cars to come between the group, and then you got the rest of the group behind that, like, it spells trouble. And a lot of cages, when they see gaps like that, they don't care that you riding in a big group. Like, if
Hmm.
they need to get over in that lane, I've seen them do it, they'll get over in that lane. So just make sure when you're riding in these groups, keep up with the pack. You can't be lollygagging and driving and riding like you by yourself when you got, 40, 50, 60 other riders with you. That was probably one of the most frustrating group rides I've done.
When you
And I
riding
said
it,
to myself,
go
say
ahead.
again.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when I do another ride, if I see that bike, I'm gonna make sure to steer clear. Get away from him. Because I remember the bike, I remember what it looked like. But anyway, go
A lot of
ahead.
people don't understand though. Them group rides, man, that's what caused a majority of the arguments in this motorcycle
Mhm.
world, man. Like,
Mhm.
I've been on rides where we got back to our location and it's about to be a knockout, drag out fight because some of them arguing, man, why you leave me, man? Why you cut in front of that car and I couldn't get by, man? You jumped over in this lane and I got held up, man. Like, people don't understand. Like, it be ready to come to fisticuffs over this riding cause like people, everybody don't ride the same. So
Right.
if you are a slow rider and you a slow rider, then you got to ride your own ride, like you said. And that's one thing we always do when we go on rides. Cause I ride with a group of guys, and when I say we ride, we ride. But one thing we
Mhm.
always do, first, we always say ride your own ride every time we go. But we
Mhm.
also, if we going on a long ride, we also have an itinerary. We also
Right.
have our stopping points where we go stop and get gas at. We also have the time frame that we looking to get to our next destination. So therefore, if you ride and you ride a little slower, we may pull off and leave you when you on the highway, but we're not going to leave
Mhm.
you when we get to that rest stop. We go wait till we get to that next point, and we go wait on everybody to get there. We go wait on you to top off with gas. We go wait on you to relax, stretch a little bit, and then we go take off to our next point. And another thing we always do, we always make sure everybody has the address. Where we going, every next stop we going, whether it be a gas station, you go have the directions to the gas station. So we make sure everybody is aware, so that way you can ride your ride. You can get there on your time. You don't have to speed, or if you ride slow, the fast riders don't have to worry about waiting on the slow rider. So that's definitely important, because group rides can get tough sometimes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But, doing it that way, the way you just described, when you have your itinerary, you have your stopping points, and then the fact, that you're willing to wait on those, that may, ride a little bit slower, that speaks volumes, because you definitely want to make sure that, everybody that starts off on the ride, everybody, that we're leaving with, we all get there in one piece. So if we're meeting up at this rest stop at 10 o'clock and you don't get there to 10:10, we're going to wait and make sure that everybody's there, and that's great, because, being honest, motorcycles, are not the safest mode of transportation. But at the same time, we get out there knowing this, so it's good to have, those accountability partners and those that are willing to make sure we're good and, we're getting where we need to get to on time. And, that's just part of being accountable and, making sure that everybody is good. So, yeah, that's great that y'all do that.
And also, when we have women riding with us, we used to have this thing where we be like, well, we go set the women out front and let the women set the pace, man. But it's some women riders out here that don't be playing no games. So it's like, hold on now. We thought we were gonna let her set the pace. She doing 110 miles per hour. She got everybody trying to keep up with her. So it's some out there to earn their stripes now. So I will say that. But with that said, as far as women and riding and the type of riding you do, like, what are some safety tips that you would recommend? What are some safety gear and, things like, how do you prep for a good ride when you go out on your own?
So preparation for me, first things first, getting dressed, making sure I have on the right attire, especially you have to be careful in the summer months, because it can get a little tricky with it being so hot, and then you kind of layer it down with all these clothes. I like to wear, always, legs always covered. Even in the summertime, I like to wear my boots. I know, a lot of people, do sneakers and things like that sometimes. For me, I just feel more comfortable in my boots. So even, in the summertime, I'll most of the time have my boots on. I keep my legs covered. I do keep my arms covered every now and then. And I mean, it's very rare. And it's only if I'm doing a short ride just to kind of get out and get some air, I might put on a short sleeve, but that's very rare. Because I do like to have my arms covered as well in those summer months. And then, of course, during the winter months when I do ride, it's I do wear layers, and then, of course, leather coat, my leather jacket, and full finger gloves to keep my hands, warm. Now, as far as before actually getting on the road, I do a check over on my bike, kind of look around, walk around. I do check my tire pressure. I do check brake fluids and things like that, just to make sure that, I'm good on everything. And I'm going to tell you a quick story with the reason why I check my fluids before every ride. So last summer, I was coming down 77, and I was getting off the exit. And thank God I was on my way home. And I went to hit my back brakes and went all the way down to my floor, to my floorboard. And this is the first time that had happened, and me being, pretty much a fairly new rider, I was like, oh my God, what's going on? And thank God, with motorcycles, your braking power is mostly your front brake anyway. So thank God that didn't go out, but it scared me that my back brake went out because I had never experienced that. And so, I had my mechanic get right on that. But, from that point forward, I just make it a point to just double check my fluids and things like that. Make sure my mirrors, are good and tight.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, tire pressure. I do everything that I can do in my power before I take off to make sure that, I have a good ride. And I would encourage, any woman rider, especially if you've been riding any amount of time, ladies, I'm sure you probably do that anyway and do it once over, on your bike. But if you're a new rider, start doing that before you take off, and make sure everything looks right. Make sure you don't have any leakage or anything like that underneath your bike. Make sure there's no, oil spots or anything leaking, any fluids or anything. But that's typically what I do before a ride and the attire that I wear, to make sure that I'm good. And it's, that's what works for me.
That's good information to put out there because, one bolt come loose and fall off your bike can be a disastrous situation. So making sure you check over your bikes, making sure, you twist the lugs, make sure everything is tight, everything is in place. Look up under your bike, make sure ain't no, fluid buildups coming from anywhere off from under your bike and stuff. And, pay attention. One of the big things is you can learn the sound of your motorcycle. When your motorcycle is making a sound that it normally doesn't make. So you can about gauge and tell, okay, something ain't right. So just be mindful and, when you're out there, I know sometimes we have our music blaring and we partying while we riding, but you can still tell, like even me, I could tell the way my motorcycle take off if something ain't right. So, pay attention to the small things and it can be life-saving for sure. Cause we done had a lot of people to go down and have accidents and it all over stuff that really could have been prevented if they would have paid a little bit more attention to their bike and, understand what they was looking for and things like that. But also with checking over your bike and, the safety equipment and stuff you use, I would want to say comms is very important too. And when I say comms, I mean, the Bluetooth connection with your helmet and stuff like that, because, when you ride and what I do, it depends on where I'm riding at. If I'm doing short distance, I throw on my half shell. We kind of just use hand signals because we ain't gonna be, really on the highway. We just gonna be, riding stoplight to stoplight in the city and stuff. So we can easily flag one another down or throw a sign or a gesture to get people's attention. But when you ride long distance, it's always best to have communication. So if we get broke apart, the communication bounces off each other's signals. So we can have 8 different bikes connected on the comms and if the person in the back need to get a message to the person in front that want to stop with gas or something, it's easy to just hit the button and relay the message and everybody get it and know, okay, we go pull over at the next exit or something like that. So I think comms is definitely a big thing when you're taking long distance trips and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's absolutely important because you got to be able to communicate, with those you're riding with. And obviously you can't really do that, when you're on the highway, like you said, other than hand signals. But if it's something that requires us to pull over for something or whatever the case may be, you want to be able to, to talk to your group.
Yeah.
It's very important, extremely important. And I wanted to say too, when you were mentioning, we were talking about the pre-check and everything, and how, we all like to listen to our music and stuff, when we're riding. But I would definitely, if you're one of those, like me, you like to listen to your music and turn it up while you're riding, take a ride, sometimes and just ride with no music. Because what made me think about that was you saying, how you learning your bike and knowing your bike, and when it, if it makes a sound or something that's, that shouldn't be there, or if it feels different, you're not going to know that if you're constantly blasting your music, 24/7. So sometimes take a ride turn that radio off and just you and your bike.
Yeah.
Just listen to your bike.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And that's important because it'll definitely let you know when something gear go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So another thing, let's get into this. I know when we first started talking, you said that you wasn't a part of no motorcycle club or anything like that. Do you see yourself in the future joining a women's motorcycle club, or is that something you would be interested in joining or even starting for yourself?
That's a good question. So, and I've actually thought about that often. As far as a women's club, it's possible, if, the morals and the agenda, lines up with what I believe in. And, it seems like a good group of women. I would probably, I don't know if you know Pastor Sheldon and his wife, but they have a motorcycle ministry. I would definitely lean towards that first.
Okay.
Before I would just jump into a quote unquote club, even if it is just females. Because my thing with motorcycle clubs is I do not like all the the legalities of it and all of the kind of the pomp and circumstance. It's got to be this, it's got to be that. We on the highway, you can't pass. Like,
yeah,
forget all that.
The rules.
If I'm on my bike and I want to go, I'm gonna go. And no disrespect to the motorcycle community, but my thing is this: who are you to tell me if it's 20 of y'all and it's just little old me? Who are you to say that I can't, just go on about my business? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not. I don't consider myself an aggressive rider by any means. Mm-hmm. So no, I say to myself, so if it's 20 of y'all over here and I need to get over and go, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I don't like. I don't like all of that.
No, I agree. It's some rules and it's some things that set out there that should only apply to you and your club at that moment. Like, mm-hmm. if you and your club doing things and somebody else is out riding solo and is not involved in your club, like your rules shouldn't apply to them. They have no idea what your rules are. You know what I mean? So they really kind of just minding their business. But that comes more from people trying to dominate the area and want to get their name out there, and they getting their name out there the right way. But one thing we ain't gonna do, we ain't gonna go into talking about these clubs, because we can go on and on and on and on about that, man. Because I swear it's some stuff I done seen. It's like, nah, that ain't gonna work. You know what I mean? So
it's a rabbit hole. Never ending rabbit hole.
Yeah, man. We'd be here to 12 o'clock at night talking about all that. but you missed it. You mentioned Sheldon, and go back and listen to the last podcast I just updated the other day. It was me and him. Me and Retro talked on the last podcast, and we talked about some good stuff. I'm actually supposed to be getting with him today also to provide him with a sweater since he came on the podcast. So another thing I wanted to ask you about, what do you feel about breaking the stereotypes for the women in the motorcycle culture? I mean, I know you guys are looked at in a lot of different ways. Some guys can be disrespectful when it comes to women riding motorcycles and stuff. Mm-hmm. What are some of the stereotypes that you feel you guys are I guess accused of, or I guess, people think, okay, she a woman, she don't know what she talking about, or she don't know how to ride. Like, how do you break through these stereotypes?
It's, me, I honestly just take it with a grain of salt, because, women, especially on the motorcycle set, I feel, and this is just my opinion, are looked at as, just on the set to,
mix and mingle with guys.
Mix and mingle and, party and for a lot of us that ride like that's further from the truth. And then you get, men that think, you a woman, you shouldn't be on that kind of bike, or that bike is too big for you, or is that your bike, or you just saw me pull up on it. What you mean, is it mine? Like, I mean, can you handle that? You just saw me get off of it. What you think?
Yeah.
So I've gotten all those questions, and it's funny, that we're even looked at as people, that shouldn't be able to ride what we ride, or we're looked at as what's she on that for? What's she doing? Like, and you'd be surprised. Like, there are some men out there, that think that way. That think, we shouldn't be on these Harleys, and we shouldn't, they shouldn't be tricked out the way that they are. Like, this is a man's thing. But I would say, breaking that stereotype, the only way to do that is to keep riding our rides, keep doing what we do.
Yeah.
I know, some women, ride and go harder than some of these men.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely true.
There's one lady that I ride with, a good friend of mine. I actually met her on social media, and she get out there and pound with the best of them. And every now and then me and her get together and we'll, hang out and go for a ride. And she's even taught me some things.
Mm-hmm.
She's taught me a lot of things, actually, being a more experienced rider. And she has a street glide.
Mm-hmm.
And she's so tiny, she's short and petite, but I'm telling you, my girl be riding that thing. You hear me?
Yeah.
And can keep up with a group of men. So I think for us, breaking that stereotype is, just for us to continue to do what we're doing. We have to show you, not prove ourselves, but we just have to show you.
I can already tell who you talking about. You got to be talking about Miss Wanda, ain't you?
Yeah, that's my girl. I'm talking about Wanda. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about.
Okay. So you remember earlier when we was talking, and I told you that we was gonna put the women out in front, and she ended up. That's exactly who I was talking about. Wanda rode with us to Tennessee. We did a Tennessee ride where we went to we rode to Uncle Nearest, and Wanda rode with us. And when I tell you, she was riding that bike, she was not playing no games, man. So
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
I already when you said street glide and you said little, I already knew off top you was talking about Wanda, and she. But the thing about Wanda, she ain't gonna let no man say nothing to her. She go talk her trash and back it up.
He sure is.
Oh yeah.
Sure
I had a blast with Wanda. We had such a good time on that trip. I wish you could have been there. But we had some fun, man.
Yeah, she's something else. And I, like I said, she's taught me a lot. She's shown me a lot. And she's just a good woman. And just to, to see her and learn some things from her, it's been a joy. Me and her just met each other towards the end of last year, and we've done quite a few rides together.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to her, like I said, she go talk her trash. Your friend Nayon, she get at me in trouble, but Wanda's something else, man. I enjoy being around her. Every time I'm around her, she is somebody fun to be around. She go speak her mind now.
Yep, every time.
So with the breaking the stereotypes thing, a lot of people know me on a motorcycle set, different places. And I'm one of them people, I'm pretty sure you already know if you done been around. I like to talk trash, all in fun,
Right.
Yeah, we talk a lot of trash. We crack on each other motorcycles and stuff like that. And we talk about how slow one another bikes is. But I never say anything to women. And the reason why I do that, because I don't want them to feel like they being picked on. Now, if somebody like Wanda come up and say something to me, I know her. So, of course, I joke and talk trash with her. But if I don't know you and haven't really formally met you, I won't say anything to you, because I know I've seen with my own eyes, a gentleman was playing with a woman. We was out at a bike event, and he made a comment, and she took it the wrong way. And we all knew that he was joking, but, evidently she didn't know it. And it really went left. And I was like, man, that situation shouldn't occur, but you know, you can't prevent how somebody else takes something. So
Right.
so from that point right there, it was one of them things like, man, you know, you got to be careful who you say what you say to, because
Mm-hmm.
you know, that could have been something that somebody picked on her about before and it just triggered her, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
you
That's
know,
true.
just that action alone is like, okay, you don't never have to worry about me picking or joking with no women. And it's not that, you know, you don't want to say anything to them or nothing like that. You just, you know, I understand that women in this, you know, motorcycle culture deal with so much from us men. It's like, I don't want to be
Mm-hmm.
one of the ones to put in that box. Like when I say deal with so much, you know, talk about the derogatory comments being made towards them and, you know, things that's being said and stuff like that. And it's got this, you know, picture painted that everybody in the motorcycle culture, all us men are animals, and you know, we all not like
Mm-hmm.
that. So some of us just cool, laid back guys, you know what I mean? So I really don't say too much, you know, when it comes to the women and stuff like that. But like I said, if I know you or if I'm introduced to you and I get to know
Right.
you, then yeah, we'll have a full blown conversation. But if I've never met you, I've never said anything to you, you know, if I do say something, it's gonna be a quick, hey, how you doing, and keep it moving. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I think um, I mean, women in general, and you know this. We're sensitive creatures, and most of us are. Are very very sensitive, and and that doesn't change just because we're on a motorcycle. And I think you're doing it the right way. If I don't know you, I'll speak. How you doing? And go on about my day. But if it's somebody you're more familiar with, then yeah, it's okay to joke around and talk a little trash and but yeah, just because we're on a motorcycle set, we still want to be treated like women, and I think that goes back to what you're saying, about the stereotypes. We're not just there for the parties and things like that. We want to ride and have fun too. But without dealing with the derogatory comments and things like that. But if you don't know them, yeah, just like you said, go on about your day, speak, and just keep moving, because you don't know what they're dealing with, and you don't know what's going on the inside, and you don't know what you say, like you said, may trigger something, so, and that's the last thing you want to do.
Do you feel like women in the motorcycle culture has that edge on their shoulder already because of what they might have heard from, being on a motorcycle set from guys? So do you think women come in like let's use you for example. Do you feel like you already have an edge when you going to a bike event and the guys gonna be there? Do you feel like you already come with the attitude, I'm not taking no mess from these guys, I'm not playing these games, I'm gonna be stern? And do you feel like you already have a chip on your shoulder as opposed to going ready to have a good time? Or are you going like, I'm in defense mode, I'm gonna protect myself, I'm gonna show these guys that I need to be here, or I ride my own motorcycle, or ain't nobody really say anything out the way to me? Like, do you feel like a lot of women feel like they have to have that show that, oh, I got the power to control my own bike and stuff like that? What you think about that?
I think, well, for me, first off, I don't go anywhere with a chip on my shoulder.
Okay.
It's one of those things where you respect me, I respect you. If you come at me sideways, I know how to, just turn around and go on about my business. I don't entertain anything or anybody that's not worth my time. If you come in with some mess, then I know how to turn around and walk off. I don't go, I'm not going to go anywhere with a chip on my shoulder. If I'm there, to socialize and meet and greet and have a good time, then I'm going to do that, but you come at me sideways, because, maybe you've had too many drinks or whatever the case is. I know how to turn around and walk off.
Yeah.
And that's just what it is. I don't take it personal. I don't take anything personal.
Yeah.
But I do think, for some women, maybe they do, approach different events and things like that in defense mode. Just because, in their mind, I'm just coming here to have a good time. I don't want to be bothered, and I don't want to, I think because of that, yeah, some women do come to, to certain events already in defense mode. But you can go and have a good time and not be rude and mean. Like you just say no.
Yeah.
Just say no. You don't have to have attitude about everything. You know what I mean? You can get your point across and say no and move on. You don't have to come already in defense mode, because that makes you unapproachable. And you're going to socialize, but if you're already there and people can see it, they can see it on your face. I ain't gonna bother her because she looks like, she is X, Y, and Z, and already got an attitude. People can see that on your face.
True.
True. So if you're presenting yourself that way, there's no point in even going out to socialize or even going out if you're gonna come already with a chip on your shoulder. Just stay home.
And like I said, I think a lot of that comes from, the question I just asked you about stereotypes. I think, this motorcycle culture, for whatever reason, has a strong opinionated base where, people draw opinions of people and they've never met them. They draw opinions of people just based off the type of bike that they may have, or the, the type of person they would be with, or, if they know people in this club or that club. Like I told you, people can take, just visually seeing you, people may judge you on the type of patches you got on your vest. You know what I mean? So, all that stuff you have to take into consideration. And that's why, I'm a man of strong will. Like, I've always been one. I'm going to show you the utmost respect until you disrespect me. You know what I mean? So, like, I come with open arms for everybody. And then when you show me that you're not willing to receive my open arms and you want to get a little left, then I'm going to go left with you. And, what Steve Harvey say, don't trip, he ain't through with me yet. You know what I mean? Right. So it's like, I'm not one of the ones you go play with, but I'm not going to come out here and start nothing and anything like that. So like my main goal is just to have fun in this motorcycle world. That's why this podcast was created, because I wanted people to be able to come on here and just, talk about their views, talk about, things that they experienced in this motorcycle world, and let's piggyback off each other. Let's share the love. Let's share the knowledge. Let's talk about some places we can go visit and put some rides together and stuff like that. That's the whole purpose of this podcast. Like, I don't want to get into the politics of what goes on behind the scenes in the motorcycle world, because that has nothing to do with me. I'm
exactly.
here, I'm here to just have a good time, meet like-minded people. Like, I want to be able to talk to everybody. If this podcast take off and it have a million different interviews from a million different people, that's what I want, because I want everybody to have an opinion. So that's my goal, that's my aim, and that's what we want to try to get done on this podcast. And again, I want to tell you, thank you for taking the time to join us. Sharing your knowledge, sharing your wisdom, and you've always been a supportive person from what I see thus far. I got to catch you out there on that highway for sure. but I know, like you said, that this summer you go take a couple long distance rides, and we already got a couple rides set up, so we'll be waiting on you to join. Matter of fact, you need to come and join us. I was talking to Retro last week or the other day when I put that podcast up, and me and a couple of guys go do his Four Corners of North Carolina here in the next month or two. If you got some time, come and join us.
I may do that. I know he's been killing it. I think he's done North Carolina, just did Florida. I think they did Virginia. Like they out there. They really doing it.
Yeah, he did Georgia, North Carolina. The one he was doing the other day in Florida, he had to cut short. So he was talking to me about that on a podcast. So he said he go back and do it, but he got to start all over. He was like, because it's not a thing to where you can cut off somewhere and then go back and pick back up and start it. So he said that, when he go back to do it, he got to start all over from the beginning and run through the Four Corners. So he said he go get it done shortly. And you know him like I know him. If he say he go do it, he definitely go get it done.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He now that's one thing he gonna do is get on that bike and go.
Oh yeah.
I hung out with him a few weeks ago for his birthday, and we just sitting there talking. This was a Friday night, I believe, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna run up to Boston tomorrow." And I said, "Boston."
Yeah.
So when he gets up and go, he goes.
Oh yeah.
You know. So yeah,
Yeah. That man be all over the world. And we got a couple other guys in that group that ride too. You know, them guys going along 11-day ride again, man. And I think they going out towards the West Coast this time, man. You know, them guys they done been all over the place, and you know, I'm getting in tune with them, but I ain't in tune with them that much yet to be going way out there 11 days and stuff. So you know, like I've done did the Uncle Nearest, I did the DC, I did the Florida, the Kentucky, different places like that, but that 8-day out there on the West Coast, like I don't think I'm ready for that yet. So
that's a ride now.
yeah. So we'll figure that out. But look, what I want you to do, I ain't gonna take too much of your time again. You know, it's been an hour, and I'm so grateful for you to come on and discuss what you discuss. Put your information out there, your social media tags, your emails, if you want people to, you know, be able to get in contact with you and things like that.
Yeah, so I am on Facebook. Is Minister J.L. Evans, but Minister is abbreviated, so it's just MIN JL Evans on Facebook, and on Instagram, you spell it out, Minister Jennifer Evans on Instagram, and the same thing on YouTube, Minister Jennifer Evans on YouTube as well.
Okay, all right. And what I do, I send you a message, or you can send me a message with all that, and I add the links and stuff, you know, when we get ready to post a podcast and things like that. But again, thank you for your time. I really appreciate you. You know, anytime you need me, anytime you want to talk or you want to ask a question or whatever, you know my number. Just give me a call, shout me out, and we'll definitely be in touch soon.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
You too. Okay, so you heard it here first. You heard it from, you know, a female's point of view. We talked about the stereotypes. We talked about, you know, riding safety. We talked about, you know, preparation for your bike and just a lot of different things. And it's always good, like I said, to get things from a different perspective. We never know someone's train of thought. We never know the reasoning behind why people do what they do. Especially when it comes to the motorcycle world and stuff like that. So, you know, it's always good to just talk to people. You know, we got to stop drawing conclusions or assumptions and just really get in tune with just being able to, you know, just sit down and have a discussion with folks. Cause, you know, when you talk to people, it'll answer a whole lot of questions that you probably had. So with that said, you know, we go take off today. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. Help me grow this podcast. If you want to come on, you got something you want to say, you want to talk about, like I always tell you in every episode, the doors are always open. Shoot me an email, hit me on my Instagram link, social media, whatever the case may be, and come on and join us. We look forward to talking to you. Until next time, I'll get with y'all later.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Do You Ride? We hope you enjoyed the ride as much as we did. If you're craving for more motorcycle adventures, be sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform. Connect with us on social media. We'd love to hear your stories, your favorite rides, and what makes you feel alive on two wheels. Don't forget to spread the love by sharing our podcast with your fellow riders and friends who appreciate the sweet symphony of a well-tuned engine. Until next time, keep the rubber side down, the throttle wide open, and remember, no matter where life takes you, always ask, do you ride?